midst, Swaminathan. And along with Mr. Swaminathan, we have Mr. Narasimhan, Mr. Gopu, a part of Sir's team. Now, Professor Swaminathan is a retired professor of mechanical engineering from. You may be wondering why we have invited a professor of mechanical engineering to address you. Well, as you will soon get to know, Professor Swaminathan is a multifaceted personality, and one of his big passions in life has been social activism. This is something he has been involved in right from his youth. And when Shweta is introducing him, you'll get to know all the projects. You know, he's been a part of a lot of socially relevant projects. And why he is here with us today is because one of his big passions in life is to get young people like you aware of our heritage. Now, you must be aware, you know, as students of history and tourism, yes, you know, India has a rich heritage, but there are so many aspects of it that we are not aware of ourselves. Okay, so Professor has been doing a lot of work to preserve our heritage, and he'll be speaking to you specifically about the Chittanavasal caves, which are ancient Jaina caves. Now, how many of you in this room have heard of the Chittanavasal caves? Okay, so we can see there are very few hands going up. Well, for all the rest of you, it's going to be an eye-opener. You will know in virtually every crick and corner of India, we have something really beautiful, which needs to be preserved. And as students of history, I think, you know, our contribution in doing that is really great. Okay, so I think we have a person here who's a visionary, who has done a lot, and he'll be looking for support from us, at least in terms of our interest and what we do to contribute to this whole project and venture as well. So we are really happy that Professor Swaminathan could come here today. And on behalf of the principal and management of the college and the staff and students of the Department of History, we extend to him a very warm welcome. And since this year our project is on heritage and conservation, we hope that we'll be seeing you more often on our campus. And I'd also like to welcome you have the members of the web, I think Parivadini, yeah, they're there. They're going to telecast this event. Okay, so those of you, when you go back home, you can watch it. Okay, on YouTube, it will be available on YouTube. Yes. Okay, so welcome to you as well. And I'd like to welcome Lata. Lata, thank you very much for being here, and all the students of the department. Okay, so we hope that you will make best use of this opportunity, get to learn as much as you can. And after Professor Swaminathan's presentation, there will be some interactive session, and I hope all of you will interact and get to know what he really has been doing all these years. So thank you very much, and welcome to Stella Maris once again.
Good morning, one and all. I would like to welcome all of you for today's program. Prayer is the key to the morning and the lock of the evening. A prayer has the power to potentially change any situation, even the most challenging ones, in miraculous ways. I call upon the first year Akshaya for the prayer song.
Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Parvati Tanaya Muruti, Sharanu Mushik Bahana, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayaka. Nitila netrane devi sutane nagabhushana priyane. Nitila netrane devi sutane nagabhushana priyane. Tatilata gita komalangan kana kundal dharane. Siddhi Vinayaka, Sharanu Vidya Pradayaka, Sharanu सिद्धिविनायका पट्टमोदिन पदकहारणे पाहुहस च दुष्टने पट्टमोदिन पदकहारणे पाहुहस च दुष्टने हीटडोड़ गय हेमक कन पास अंगुस धारणे शरण सिद्धिविनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरण सिद्धिविनायका.
I request Gayatri ma'am to present the bouquet to Dr. Swaminathan. Thank you, ma'am. We are delighted to have with us today as our special guest is Dr. S. Swaminathan, a historian and retired professor of mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi. I invite Shweta to introduce Dr. S. Swaminathan.
A very good morning to one and all present here. Professor S. Swaminathan worked in the Indian Institute Technology, Delhi for more than 30 years in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He is also a social activist and participates in social relevant projects. He worked in the Center of Rural Development in IIT Madras, Bharat Gyan Vinyan Samiti, Delhi, for Shed Development and Integrated Rural Technology Center, Palakkad, Kerala. He holds to his belief that technology must be human-centered and that there exists a cultural root to the development. Realizing that Indian youth have an inadequate understanding of our heritage and consequently lack a sense of identity, Professor S. Swaminathan decided to acquaint the students of IIT Delhi with the various aspects of our culture. Sir has helped setting a center for art and culture called Sudarsanam in Pudukkottai, towards the twin aim of document the heritage of the district and offer an opportunity to the youth to appreciate their culture. He has also offered a method of preserving the priceless paintings in the Jaina cave at Chittanavasal. Professor S. Swaminathan has an area of certain closeness in the story of scripts tracing the origin of writing 5 ancient culture: Sumerian, Egyptian, Chinese, Mesoamerican, and Indian, and adding Korean scripts, the most scientific scripts of the world. Ajanta was a door to his introduction to Indian art, in which subjects he has done extensive documentation of Ajanta paintings tradition. And this has been a subject of and talks by him from the IITD days. One among topics dearest to is Styling Cultural Atlas of India. His founding of the Tamil Heritage Group is an attempt to raise an army of foot soldiers of heritage. His major post-retirement activity was documenting the Pallava art at Mamalapuram and a coffee table book sponsored by Marg Chennai in the outcome. Professor S. Swaminathan's involvement has been recognized both at IIT and at the national level. He was part of a team to receive the Best Invention Award by NRDC in 1983. He is one among the 50 faculty members to receive meritorious awards by IIT Delhi as a part of a Golden Jubilee celebrations this year. As a gesture of encouragement, his way of academics, he and his wife reside in Chennai. Glad to have you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. Now I request sir to address the gathering and share your enlightened experiences.
Good morning to you all. It is my pleasure to be here. This is my third visit to this beautiful campus. How long should I be talking? When is your next class? They will be here for 2 hours. No, I will not bore you for 2 hours. I feel I would have been happier to leave you in 10 minutes, but to make you be even happier, but I think I will have to take about at least 1 hour from you. Okay. Today I am going to talk about a subject which could be part of your study of preserving Indian heritage. I think I have got a project on this subject. Actually, what I am going to present is a proposal that I have made 11 years ago. I come from a place called Pudukkottai, which is in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. In the district, there is a Jaina monument called the Jaina Cave Temple. I believe what it is called. First of all, I will take you to the Jaina Cave Temple at Chittanavasal. First of all, show you the monuments there. Then also we will discuss about the problems associated with the present condition of the monuments. And finally, let me explain what I have in mind about the preservation of the monuments, particularly the paintings in the cave. Pudukkottai is in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, as I mentioned to you. It is a coastal district. Next. There are a number of cave temples. In fact, it contains more number of cave temples than any other district of Tamil Nadu. People have visited. People might have gone to Mahabalipuram. How many Mahabalipuram? How many of you have seen cave temples? There are 11 cave temples in Mahabalipuram. Some of the best in the country. Yes. Now, there are cave temples all over Tamil Nadu. These cave temples were excavated during a period from the 7th century to the 9th century. These are the existing, or what stands today as the temples of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, though it may be famous for its temples, but the temple construction or the temple excavation starts only from the 7th century. After the cave temple stage, it was a structural temples which you see all over, the Kapaleshwara temple here, or Shiva Vishnu temple here, or the temples that you find in Kanchi and so on. They are structural temples. Just like you build this building, you can also build a temple in wherever you feel like. But cave temples are excavated. There is a hill standing there, and you remove the material to make a worshipping place. That's a cave temple. And this is the beginning of temples in stone in Tamil Nadu, or for that matter, on the left you see the cave temple at Chittanavasal, about which we are going to talk. Then immediately on the top, on the right, you have Tirukokarnam, another cave temple of the Pandyas. Left below is a cave temple in Kudumiyan Malai, and finally is the Thirumayam temple. There are a number of them. All these things are what I have shown are very first temples. Next, please. The cave temple in Chittanavasal, about which I am going to talk today, is a Jaina temple. Most of the other temples are Hindu temples in India, Hindu cave temples. This is the only Jaina cave temple that is surviving today. What happened, whether they had been, whether there were more, we do not know, but this is a Jaina cave temple. And the Pudukkottai region, the Madurai region, had very strong Jaina association. In fact, the Jains had been there for a long period of time in these places, from the 3rd century or the 2nd century BCE till about the 12th century. So there are about 1500 years of the Jain existing or living there, being there in this world. Next, please. And you have number of Jaina vestiges here. When the Jain sages came to Tamil Nadu, probably around the 3rd century BC, they were all monks. They lived in places for habitation. They selected out of the way caverns, natural caverns, and stayed there. And the people in and around that place helped them making stone beds so that they can sleep in the night. So the earliest vestiges of the Jains in Tamil Nadu are the caverns, and these are identified by the stone beds that have been made on the floor. And there are also later number of temples were built, number of images were made, and so on. All these things are in total disarray these days. You can see broken images, broken temples, and so on and so forth, number of places, particularly in Pudukkottai district. Yes, please. The most important Jaina site in Tamil Nadu is Chittanavasal. Next, please. Chittanavasal, one minute. Chittanavasal is about 12-13 kilometers from Pudukkottai town. Pudukkottai town is the district headquarters and easily approachable. Next. What are there in Chittanavasal? One most important monument there is the Jaina cave temple. It is a very long hillock, almost 2 kilometers long. Almost at the middle is the Jaina cave temple. Next. This cave temple was excavated around the 9th century AD. But much before that one, the Jaina monks had been residing here, and from the time 2nd century, 3rd century BC onwards, there is Ezhadi Pattam is a place which is a natural cavern where the monks resided, and there are 17 beds, stone beds. Because of this one, we can identify that this was frequented by the Jains from the 3rd century BCE. When we say 3rd century BCE, remember that at that time in India, in various other parts of the world, what would have been happening at 3rd century BCE? That is roughly about 2,300 years ago. I am going to talk a little more about the beds and the inscription there. Next. A kilometer further down on the hillock, you have a cave temple constructed underneath a tarn, a small water body. If you remove the water, you will find a cave temple inside. That is a submerged cave temple. And lastly, there are hundreds of prehistorical burial sites, megalithic burial sites. When you go along the road, you can find on both the sides, these are probably 3,000 years old or so. We are not really certain about the time, but they existed till about the 1st century AD. Next. This is the cave temple that we are talking about which we are going to talk a little more in detail. This is the entrance that you will find, entrance to the cave temple. Next. If you actually enter the cave temple, this is the front veranda, Ardha Mandapam. And the small opening that you see, it leads to a Garbhagraham, that is a sanctum. It's not very large. Remember, all cave temples in Tamil Nadu are excavated out of granite, which is rather a hard material. Because of this, our cave temples in Tamil Nadu are not very large. Whereas if you go to Maharashtra, there are 1,000 or more cave temples. Each one could be very big because these are all soft stone. They are excavated out of soft stone. Here it is. Next. There is an inscription belonging to the 9th century. It is in Tamil. By the way, more than half of inscriptions in India are in Tamil Nadu, I should say, in Tamil, for various reasons. And this is that an inscription in Tamil belonging to the 9th century AD. What it says is, at the time of the inscription, the cave temple has been renovated, which means the cave temple existed before the 9th century. We have no clue as to find out how when it was actually excavated. Next, please. If you go into the temple, there are only 3 sculptures. All of them are relief sculptures. In the front hall, that is Ardha Mandapam, there are 2 people on the left you see, the Jain gods. One is Parshvanatha, the other must be a teacher. If you go into the sanctum, right, or you see on the right, there are 3 people sitting. These are the only sculptures in the cave temple. Next, please. Then the temple is famous for its paintings. It is supposed to be next only in importance to Ajanta paintings. And the paintings prior to that one you find are the Pallava paintings in Kanchipuram and Panamalai. This is the 9th century, and the Kanchipuram Panamalai paintings are 8th century paintings. And these are the earliest Jaina paintings in South India. Next, please. Let's just get an idea about the painting tradition itself. The earliest paintings that we find in India are found in Ajanta caves, 2nd century BCE till about the 8th century AD. Whereas in Tamil Nadu, you find the 8th century paintings of the Pallavas in Kanchipuram and Panamalai. Then comes the paintings in Chittanavasal. Later you have the Brigadishwara temple painting in Tanjavur. Next, please. The paintings are all done on dry wall called fresco secco. Normally the fresco paintings in the West had been done on a moist wall, fresco buono. Here the colors that are used are natural mineral colors. That's why they have lasted so long. Mineral colors means that stones which have of different colors, like kavi, akar. Akar itself, there is saffron color, there is yellow color, then there you have lime which is white and so on. These are the colors that have been used. Next, please. Of course, when you look at the painting in India, you can immediately identify the region from which the painting is come. Regional taste contributed to the individuality of the paintings in Tamil Nadu in general and Chittanavasal in particular. That is, If you look at a painting, you can immediately say whether it's a Pallava painting or a Chola painting or a Pandya painting. Next please. Just to take you through, these are the paintings from Ajanta, the earliest paintings of India which I just mentioned. Next please. Then in the earliest paintings in Tamil Nadu, you find it in Kanchipuram and Panamalai, as I mentioned. This is a painting from Kanchipuram Kailasanatha temple. Then after the Ajanta, after the Chittanavasal paintings, you can find paintings of the Cholas in Tanjavur Brihadishwara temple. It's a very interesting painting. Next. Originally, like any other place in the temples of India, all temples would be plastered and painted except the flooring. I used to make this point. These plasters in Ajanta have survived 2,200 years. The painting, the plaster in modern 21st century will not last even 25 years. That is very important. You see, when you look at these paintings, it's not just art alone. There is a lot of engineering also, technology also in it. These paintings are, there's been, except for the flooring, all on the wall or on the ceiling, the paintings can be seen. When it comes to Chittanavasal paintings, there are, from the surviving paintings, we can see this one, that this would be associated with the Jaina mythology and Jaina worship. Anyway, we are going to see many of them, but unfortunately most of them are gone. Like elsewhere, even in Ajanta, about 80% are gone. In the Brihadishwara temple, it is 80% gone. In Kailasara temple, 95% gone. Next, please. There has been a history for this, for the discovery and the preservation. It was first noticed in 1916 by Radhakrishna Iyer. The first detail was written by Jovo Dubre and Gopinath Rao in 1920. There has been certain amount of preservation or research on these paintings by Paramashivam and K.R. Srinivasa. But the research is not complete. The preservation has not been done yet. Next, please. What do these paintings convey? One is, there is a Jaina concept of Samavasarana. Namely, when a Jaina becomes something close to a god, he attains that kind of a mukti, and after becoming a muni of that kind, he will give a sermon. And that sermon will be done in a large complex called Samavasarana. First of all, you enter that place, wash your feet, collect some flowers, go to the next stage, etc., etc. And in the Samavasarana complex, there will always be a lotus tank. What you find here is a lotus tank, number of ladies, probably dancers. There are lots of scroll paintings and birds and other ornaments, which we are going to see now. Next, please. Next, please. In the Ardha Mandapam, on the ceiling, we have a lotus tank, which is a part of the Samavasarana complex. And this painting is very important because it has survived and it is a beautiful painting. Next, please. This is how you see the Samavasarana ceiling painting. You can see the Garbhagraham, entrance to Garbhagraham. You can also see some of these pillars. Next, please. If you actually look at it from the from the ground, you can see the painting like this. Next, please. This is the line diagram of the painting. It could have been more visible if the light had been little less around. It would have been darker, it would have been much better. Anyway, it is a large pool of water, a microcosm of uninhabited world, of flora and fauna, of lotuses and lilies, of frolicking fishes, buffaloes, elephants, of numerous birds and of devotees. All these are shown with the simplicity and charm and naturalness. Next, please. There are 3 devotees who are have taken bath and gathering flowers. These are shown in 2 different places. Next, please. You are seeing 2 of them here. If you look at the line diagram, you may be able to identify them in the color 1. One is picking lotus flowers with the right hand and has a basket of flowers slung on the other. In fact, the basket looks very modern. Next, please. There is another fellow, slightly lighter. He carries lotus on one hand and the other hand is bent gracefully. Next, please. There is one more beautiful devotee who is carrying on one shoulder a bunch of lotus flowers, and on the other hand he is carrying lily flowers. How did you make the difference? Huh? Morning and evening we would not be able to see because he is at the same time he is carrying both of them. Basically, on the stem of lotus you will have small thorns, very small thorns. You can see that on his left hand. On the right hand, the stem of lily is always very smooth. And later you can also find out that the lily, there is a difference between lily and lotus when you look at. Next, please. There are 2 elephants shown at 2 different places. Let us go nearer and see them. Next, please. An elephant is pulling up a lotus by its stalk, while its companion watches it from behind. There are 2 elephants there. Next. There is one more sporting itself by splashing water. Next, please. There are also a number of buffaloes. Actually, this composition is very interesting to study from the point of view of art criticism. Because you have got to show elephant, buffalo, then some birds, some smaller, this one, all in one small space. How did they manage it without disturbing your eyes, at the same time making it very clear to you? This is a technique of art. Anyway, if you find time, you can always call me, I will come and discuss with you. These are 2 buffaloes. Next, please. A placid and contented buffalo. Most buffaloes, when they reach water, they are the happiest. It's a beautiful one. Next. There is one more. Tilts its head the direction of some disturbance. You can just see, probably somebody disturbed him, he looks back like this. Next. There are a number of birds. Next, please. We are not able to identify what these birds are. Next. They are all in gradation, that's what I can say. Next, please. There are a number of flowers, lily, lotus, and a few other things. Next, please. You can see the lotus. And the shading technique you can see. Whenever you are seeing this one, you must keep in mind that it has been done 1200 years ago, 1200 years ago, and for most part of the time, it was left without attention. Next. If you go to the sanctum, that is the Garbhagraham, the painting is different. Here is a carpet design. These are the three people above whom there is a carpet design, and this is the carpet design. I will show you a closer view. Two motifs are repeated. One is circular pattern within which is a cross with the two human figures on the upper side and two lion figures on the lower side. You are not able to see it very clearly, particularly those who are sitting in the last. But I am prepared to leave this presentation to you. You can pass it on to the other people. You can have a look at it. If you want more, all the paintings, all the pictures of the paintings, let me know, I will give you. The other is a diagonal across square pattern containing a Dharma Chakra. There on the right hand side, a little below, you can see the Dharma Chakra. Next, please. On the walls, at least on the two walls, there are two beautiful maidens, probably dancers. What do the dancers do in a Jaina temple? We do not know. Are they dancers or are they just welcoming you? We have no idea. But whoever it is a beautiful painting, mostly gone now. Next, please. There is one more. Next, please. Go back. Go back. One lady's head tilted slightly, left arm stretched to resemble a creeper called Latahasta pose, with the right hand bent at the elbow, with hand striking a Pataka mudra, hair tied up behind in a fashion known as Dhamalla, with the flower garland and with a tiara decorating forehead. With noteworthy ornaments, Patra Kundala, Angadas and wristlets on both arms, close-fitting kantha and three loose hanging haras in a ring on the finger and the Yajnopavita is a beautiful study. In fact, we can get a lot of ideas about the contemporary fashion. The one that I have shown you before is even more beautiful. Next, let's go to the next one. Yes, please. Please come here. Please come here. I am not able to hear you. Yajnopavita, Punal. The upper caste people wear a sacred thread called Yajnopavita. Yes. It is a practice to have Yajnopavita on women also in ceremonial presentations like this. To the best of our knowledge, women did not wear Yajnopavita. But even in the temples that you go today, in Durga temples, you will find the Yajnopavita. I think it is a ceremonial representation. Next, please. This is the painting. As you see it today, it is in very bad shape. Next. The other is even more graceful, striking a Nataraja-like pose, left arm crossing over her bosom, also in Latahasta pose, right arm is bent at the elbow, striking a Pataka pose, with the distinct headdress and ornaments, ears adorned with the Patra Kundala, rings set with gems, arms decked with bracelets and bangles, and hair with flower garlands. She is exceptionally beautiful. Next, please. This is the picture, this is the painting as you see it today. The very first picture that I showed you was taken in 1940s in black and white. Now, in the color we get it, but it's in very bad shape. Next. We'll skip this. There are also some more pictures, some more figures. Next. Next, please. On the cornice and other places you have decorations, floral decorations, and also birds like Hamsa. Next, please. there are 8 lotuses coming from the mouth of a vyali or yali, and these 8 are various stages of flowering. See, when you make something, you don't just repeat, you also have a theme to it. That is what an artist is. What he has done is, there are 8 lotuses he has filled up with, but each is separate. Each is in various stages of flowering. And the color combination is excellent. Next, please. Next, please. Do you see Hamsa there? Swan. And one of my friends who teaches art in the Government Fine Arts College says that you can start teaching children the way to draw curves using this as the basis. In fact, Ananda Kumara Swami, might have heard of Ananda Kumara Swami. He has explained how to teach children drawing starting from basic strokes, basic curves. And this one is probably one which could be very useful in extending your technique of drawing curves. Next, please. Then we go to the next one, up in the hill, in a natural cavern. The Jain monks had been staying and doing penance from the 2nd century BCE, that is 2200 years ago. How we see it? We see number of beds, stone beds, on the floor of the cavern. Next, please. This is the entrance that leads to the cave. Next, please. This is the natural cavern, and what you see are 2 beds. There are 17 beds there. In fact, the 17 beds have been polished so well, it's much better than this. Remember, this is what is known as the Mauryan polish. Those who are lucky, you must go to some of the Ashokan monuments like Sarnath. The Indian emblem, like the 3 lions and Dharmachakra. You can see the original in Sarnath on the other side of Benares. You can see that they have been polished better than what you can do it today. They have not used anything. They didn't have any implements or anything like that. That's called the Mauryan polish. The same thing that you can see here. But unfortunately, we have spoiled them. Next, please. These are the 2 beds. Next, please. And most of them are inscribed. There is an inscription around that. These inscriptions only make a mention of who has made these beds and sometimes for whom has it been made. For example, the most important inscription which belongs to the 2nd century BCE is in Tamil, written in the Tamil Brahmi script. The earliest script of India is called Brahmi. If it is found in Tamil Nadu, it is called Tamil Brahmi. Elsewhere, it was used by Ashoka to write Prakrit. In Tamil Nadu, it is written for Tamil. It is used for Tamil, that's why we call it Tamil Brahmi. And this is the script from which all Indian scripts came. Whether it is Gujarati or Malayalam or Bengali, all these things came from one source called Brahmi. In the north, it is called Brahmi. In Tamil Nadu, it is called Tamil Brahmi. And what it says is, one Ilayar of Tengu Tiruposil, from a place called Tengu Tiruposil, a person called Ilayar made this seat for a woman monk called Kavudi. She came from Kumilur, from Karnataka. Karnataka, Erimiyur means Karnataka, Eriminadu. In Karnataka, there must be a place called Kumilur. From that place came a lady monk called Kavudi. For her, This bed was made by one Elayar who belongs to Tengu Tirupozil. It's a very important document. Very important document. It gets a lot of information of a time 2000 years ago. Next, please. There are also other inscriptions belong to the 7th to the 10th century. Now you can see there is a place, in this place you have Tamil Brahmi inscription from the earliest period to the 10th century. Very few places have this distinction. Next, please. Then we go to the next one, which is called the Navachunai. Navachunai means there is a Navamaram, there is a Jamun tree. That you see is a Jamun tree. Near, close by is a natural tarn. Tarn, Nana, Chinna Kolam. What you have is a spring, right on the top of a hill. And it is, Chunai means a tarn. Next, please. And if you remove the water, you find this kind of a cave temple, a small cave temple, where there is a lingam inside. You can go around that one and come out. It is a simple, it's a box in the wall. But why did they do it? There are only two such temples, both close by. One is here, the other is in Narthamalai. Next. And as I mentioned to you, there are hundreds of megalithic burials. You can see these things all over the place. So this place has been in habitation for a very long time, from prehistory to what we have seen till about the 12th century. Next. The Chittanavasal complex offers an opportunity to travel in time from the 3rd century BCE till modern times and to savor certain unique features of our past. Next. What is the state of preservation? Originally, the entire cave temple was plastered and painted except the floor, but today we can see only patches here and there. The paintings are very few now. Even these are barely visible now, thanks to the ravages wrought by time and nature, and more importantly, vandalism by human beings. Next. This is the photograph, black and white photograph taken 1940 on the left. On the right, you see the present state. It is completely gone. If I have not shown you the line diagram, you will not be able to identify the painting. Next. Beds and inscriptions. All the beds are polished to a finish that would be difficult even today. Almost all the beds carry telltale marks of sacrilege perpetrated in the last 50 years or so. We are rudely shocked by the unimaginable amount of vandalism perpetrated by the descendants of those who reached the abode with very noble ideals. Next. This is the kind of bed. The most important bed that you find there is scribbled with a lot of graffiti by our own people. Next, please. If this rate of decay continues, the priceless treasures which we stood for about 2,200 years will be completely lost forever in the next few decades. Next. We, the inheritors of a great heritage, need to protect ours from further deterioration. We also need to create awareness among people. This is where we start. What do we do? We have, let me give a summary. There were inscriptions belong to a very long period of time in Tamil, from the 2nd century BCE till about the 10th century AD in Tamil. We also have beds where the monks stayed for peace and prosperity for the world. In the cave temple, there were a number of paintings. All these things are either gone or will be lost in the few next decades. What do we do? How do we preserve them? Fresh ideas from you. Those who have some idea, we can think loudly. How do we preserve these paintings? What they have done in Tanjavur, I will come back to you. They have done some very similar work there was a situation very similar in Tanjavur. What they have done, I will come to later. Yes, please. Come here, come. I am not able to hear you, nor are the other people. Yes, that's a slight break, isn't it? Wonderful.
Organizations like UNESCO should take over the place. They know techniques how to preserve them. They might know.
Can somebody come and help? The solution, yes, what she suggests is that UNESCO should come and help. How many such places can UNESCO help? Difficult. Yes, there are people who know how to go about preserving these things. An international expertise could be made use of. What is your hunch? What will you do? It will take, if you go to UNESCO, it may take another 30, 40 years before you can get the project done. By the time this will all be gone. Since you are all, yes, please, come on, come here. Tell them all, you educate them.
Maybe by educating people, by telling my own friends what is about, because in all the other countries where they don't even have much of heritage, they take care of their own country. So when we ourselves take initiatives, I think it can be done.
Very good. Namely, you can avoid vandalism by educating people. There will be no further vandalism. Nobody will come and scribble, write graffiti and all, right? But there is going to be a natural decay, namely because of moisture, because of sand, because of this, that and so on, they will be spoiled. Okay? Okay, I will come back to that. We have thought about it. We thought that in order to identify a proper method of preservation, we propose something so that the ball can be set rolling. This is what I am going to explain now. Next, please. First of all, close this cave temple. Keep it under controlled condition. Proper temperature, proper moisture, and so on. And recreate the entire cave temple in the vicinity. It's not a very large cave temple. The front hall is about 6 feet by 12 feet. The sanctum is only 9 feet by 9 feet. It is possible. And there are enough of experts today who will help you to get the whole painting redone exactly as it is today. Or maybe even think about how it would have been wherever it has been lost. So, create one cave temple, recreate the cave temple to the original size with all these things, and allow people to say, this is what it is over here. Don't go in. The place must be made open to scholars, researchers and all with a special permission. This is what exactly has been done in Tanjavur Brihadishwara temple. The temple contains some 10th century, 11th century paintings of extraordinary beauty in the Brihadishwara temple in Tanjavur. What they have done is, they have taken photographs and they have made a pavilion. They are exhibiting these photographs 1-to-1 size, but the original one is locked. You cannot go in unless you get a special permission. So the paintings can be, now okay. If you make such this one, will people come there only for seeing a recreated cave temple? Now, in order to see that people come there, you make it as a heritage site, an interesting site, an educational site. As she suggested, we should be able to educate our own people, sensitize our own people. To do that, next. The project aims at building a full-scale replica of cave temple with its painting recreated to its original state, to offer an opportunity to appreciate our lost glory and to preserve the monument, particularly the paintings, from further damage by keeping the original cave under controlled condition. Next, please. Yes, please. And build thematic pavilions around the recreated cave temple that highlights those features of Indian heritage for which the Chittanavasal monuments are famous for, to improve awareness of our heritage among the public. This is very important. You make it as an attractive educational site. People not only come there to visit the great heritage of this one, but also learn something more. And I am suggesting a few pavilions in and around the cave temple, recreated cave temple. Next, please. Also set up a complex for Center for Jainology for undertaking research, documentation and publication. This part of the country had a very glorious Jaina heritage. The earliest writings, most of them belong to the Jains. The earliest writing means the cave, in the cavern you have Tamil Brahmi, almost all of them except that you find in the pottery are all Jaina shrines. 3 of our great epics, out of the 5 great epics of Tamil Nadu, 3 of them are Jaina, 2 are Buddhist. Maybe even Thiruvalluvar was a Jain, from the way that most likely he was a Jain. And their contribution to Tamil literature, Tamil grammar, Tamil prosody, in general, the Tamil culture is extraordinary. But what we have is a few thousand people living in a very small location here. And it is necessary for us to remind ourselves of our Jaina heritage. And you set up a Jaina center for research and dissemination. Next. And also incorporate the tourist cultural for the benefit of tourists, and also attract cultural troops and corporate houses. You add features for that. Next, please. The artist view of recreated Arivar Kovil. The Arivar Kovil is the Jain cave temple. Next, please. Let us have 4 thematic pavilions. One is Mandiram. It is going to tell you about the development of temple architecture in India. And there are at least 2 cave temples in Chittanavasal. So, Mandiram is a pavilion for showing the development of Indian temple architecture. Next. Chitram, a pavilion highlighting the Indian tradition in painting. Aksharam, Indian scripts pavilion. As I mentioned to you before, all Indian languages have scripts drawn from one single source called Brahmi. One more thing, the Pallavas, when they started ruling the northern Tamil Nadu to start with, They created a new script for yes.
The project that you have applied for, how much does it cost? And like you have applied for the state government or the central government, or like what?
State or central government would not directly take up such things. I am not able to discuss with any of the people in the state or central government. They have their own agenda. I have been talking to private philanthropists. Maybe somebody is interested, somebody would take it up. I don't know. In fact, I have taken number of people belonging to the Jaina community. Jaina community is a very rich community outside India. It is probably less than 2% of the population paying more than 25% of our taxes. Every pawn shop owner may take interest in this one and they come up with their own idea. I am not saying this is the best idea. I am not a professional to suggest the best method. I don't know. I am simply a person who is interested in the preservation of our heritage. Definitely there are better suggestions than what I have suggested. But this is the beginning of discussion, thinking on preservation of this place. There are, and the next thing is how much it will cost, who will pay, etc., etc. These are something which are beyond me. The amount, maximum money I can think of is my pension.
Excuse me, sir. I want to know whether you will be recruiting volunteers for this project, or will you be outsourcing this entire project to some art restoration people?
I will ask the question who is going to take the project. I really do not know. You see, I have proposed a project. If somebody takes it seriously and you would like to execute it, these questions will come.
Will the governments give you autonomy to do this on your own, because it's a part of the heritage site, is it?
First of all, the best part of the project is you don't have to go to the government at all. If you want to kill a project, you go to government. Okay? It will be a stillbirth. What I am proposing is you buy about 10 acres of land in the vicinity, you do what you like. The government cannot come in the picture. Actually, the government should do this. But they have their own priorities. Instead of making instead of making a statue for Sardar Patel, 220 crores or something like that, even in Gujarat there are many things which are just lying around. They should be able to do it. But it is a question of priorities. Somebody asked me this question, Arya, where are you? I had a discussion with a group of very young architects. She is an architect working with Benny Kuriakose. Do you all know Benny Kuriakose? He is the man who is an architect of Dakshina Chitra. Okay. You must call him for a chat. And she said many things and so on. Finally I asked her, which party are you going to vote next in the next election? I don't know. Then forget about it. At least our priorities you should be clear. I do not know whether the government would take a project like this, but whenever we do anything, independent people like us, we should be thinking, we should be able to do it without the government interfering or government taking it, because I do not know. Actually, the government should take it. If the government takes it, it can be done in a jiffy. I know that, but their priorities are different. For which Ajanta is a huge affair. Japanese government had given ASI through all this channel at that time, 10 years ago, 15,500 crores. Because Japan is a Buddhist country, they wanted to have their heritage in India properly safeguarded. This is exactly the same I am trying to do with the Jains in the north. Maybe something will happen. I am extremely grateful to you for being so patient. I am thankful to you for giving me an opportunity. It will be a great pleasure if you give me opportunities in the future to interact with you. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir. It was really enlightening. We have come to the end of the session. I request Annette for the vote of thanks.
It gives me immense pleasure to extend my gratitude on behalf of the Department of History to Professor S. Swaminathan. Sir, your enlightening talk on landscaping, focusing on our heritage and various aspects of culture, has helped us to gain more interest on preserving our ancient heritage. We are truly grateful to you, sir, for making time to come and speak to this august audience in spite of your busy schedule. I would also like to thank the faculty members of the other departments who have made time to attend this session. I would also like to thank each and one of you present here for your participation and support for making this event a grand success. Lastly, I would like to thank Sister Hilda and her team for all the technical support. Thank you.